Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're about to experience something truly special. This isn't just another camping trip, and it's definitely not an ordinary adventure. What we're about to watch is a journey into the heart of nature, where one woman chooses to spend 35 hours completely alone, surrounded by a wild forest, a flowing river, and a thunderstorm that slowly transforms a peaceful afternoon into an unforgettable survival experience. If you've ever wondered what it feels like to disconnect from the noise of everyday life and simply exist with nature, then this video is going to take you exactly there. There's no crowded campsite, no loud conversations, no distractions, just the sounds of rain, wind, birds, thunder, and the quiet determination of someone who truly enjoys the outdoors. As the video begins, the first thing that catches my attention is the scenery. Everything looks incredibly peaceful. The trees stretch high into the sky, the river flows gently beside the campsite, and the air already feels cool and fresh. Even before the rain arrives, you can sense that the weather is changing. The clouds are getting darker, the wind begins to move through the trees, and there's a feeling that something powerful is coming. What I really appreciate is how natural everything looks. Nothing feels rushed or staged. The camera simply follows the journey, allowing us to enjoy every little detail. That's one reason these camping videos have become so popular. They let us escape for a while. As she arrives at the campsite, you can immediately tell she has experience. She doesn't waste any time. Every movement has a purpose. She carefully looks around, checks the ground, observes the weather, and chooses exactly where to set up her small tent. This might seem like a simple step, but anyone who has camped before knows how important it is. A good campsite can make the difference between a comfortable night and a miserable one, especially when heavy rain is on the way. Notice how calm she is. Even though dark clouds continue gathering overhead, she never looks worried. Instead, she stays focused. That confidence only comes from experience. While watching this, I can't help but imagine the smell of the forest. Wet soil, fresh pine trees, clean air. It's something you simply can't experience in the city. The sound design in this video deserves special attention. There isn't loud music trying to force emotions onto the viewer. Instead, nature becomes the soundtrack. Birds continue singing in the distance. The river creates a constant relaxing background. Leaves gently move in the wind. Then something changes. The wind becomes slightly stronger. The leaves begin moving faster. The clouds become darker. You don't even need anyone to tell you that rain is coming. Nature tells the story all by itself. Now she begins unpacking her camping gear. Everything has its place. The tent comes out first. Then the poles, the ground sheet, the stakes. Each item is organized, clean, and ready to use. Watching someone set up camp efficiently is strangely satisfying. There are no unnecessary movements, no panic, no confusion, just experience and preparation. As the first tiny drops of rain begin falling, she speeds up just a little, not because she's nervous, but because she understands the weather. Within minutes, the tent begins taking shape. Slowly, it transforms from a pile of fabric into a safe little shelter. I always find this moment fascinating. It's amazing how a lightweight tent can become an entire home in the middle of nowhere. Outside, there's nothing but forest. Inside, there will soon be warmth, comfort, and protection. As the rain continues getting heavier, the camera captures beautiful close-up shots of raindrops landing on leaves, rocks, and the surface of the river. These little details create such a peaceful atmosphere. One thing I absolutely love is that the video doesn't rush through these moments. Instead of jumping quickly from one scene to another, it allows us to breathe. It gives us time to appreciate nature. That slower pace is exactly what makes camping videos so relaxing. By now, the rain has become steady. The forest begins changing color. Everything looks richer. The green leaves appear brighter. The rocks become darker. The river reflects the gray sky above. It's honestly beautiful. Meanwhile, she finishes securing every corner of the tent. She double-checks the stakes. She tightens the guy lines. She makes sure everything is ready before the storm becomes stronger. That's another important lesson this video quietly teaches. Preparation always comes before comfort. Instead of waiting for bad weather, experienced campers prepare for it early. Now she opens the tent and begins moving her equipment inside. Sleeping bag, lantern, cooking supplies, extra clothes. Everything is placed carefully, keeping the interior neat and organized. As she settles inside the tent for the very first time, there's a noticeable shift in the mood. Outside, the forest is beginning to lose its warmth as thick gray clouds cover the sky. But inside, everything feels calm and inviting. It's incredible how such a small space can instantly create a feeling of comfort. One thing that really stands out is how organized she is. She doesn't simply throw her gear on the floor. Every item has a purpose, and every piece of equipment is placed exactly where she'll need it later. That's one of the habits experienced campers develop over time. Staying organized isn't just convenient, it can be extremely important when weather conditions suddenly become difficult. The rain is now falling at a steady pace, creating a soft rhythm against the tent fabric. It's almost hypnotic. If you've ever listened to rain while lying inside a tent, you'll know exactly what I mean. There's something incredibly peaceful about hearing thousands of tiny raindrops tapping gently overhead while knowing you're dry and protected inside. The camera slowly pans around the campsite, showing the river becoming more active as fresh rainwater feeds into it. The current moves a little faster now, and the surrounding rocks begin to glisten under the rainfall. Everything looks fresh, alive, and beautifully untouched. What I appreciate most is that this video doesn't try to dramatize the weather. It simply allows nature to tell its own story. There's no need for dramatic music or exaggerated editing. The rain itself creates all the emotion this scene needs. As the afternoon continues, the sky becomes even darker. You can barely see any sunlight breaking through the clouds anymore. Instead, a cool blue-gray tone covers the entire landscape, making the forest feel mysterious and almost cinematic. She steps outside again to make one final inspection of the campsite. This is something many beginners forget to do. Before settling in for the evening, it's always important to check that everything is secure. She walks around the tent, tightening a few lines, checking the stakes once more, and making sure nothing can be blown away if the wind gets stronger later. I really admire how patient she is. She never appears rushed. Even though bad weather is clearly approaching, she moves with confidence rather than panic. That calm attitude makes the entire experience much more enjoyable to watch. The camera captures another beautiful moment as tiny drops of water begin collecting on the pine needles. Every branch sparkles like it's covered with tiny crystals. These are the kinds of details most people would normally walk past without noticing, but camping teaches you to slow down and appreciate small things. The sound of distant thunder finally rolls across the valley. It's still far away, but it's enough to remind everyone watching that the real storm hasn't arrived yet. She pauses for just a second and looks toward the sky. Not with fear, not with concern, almost with excitement. That's something I find really inspiring. Many people see storms as something to avoid, but experienced outdoor adventurers often see them as another part of nature's beauty. As long as they're properly prepared and remain safe, storms become unforgettable experiences rather than frightening ones. Back inside the tent, she begins arranging her sleeping area. The sleeping pad is laid out carefully, followed by a warm sleeping bag and a comfortable pillow. Watching this process almost makes you want to go camping yourself. The interior is simple. Nothing luxurious. Nothing unnecessary. Yet somehow it feels more peaceful than many expensive hotel rooms. Maybe that's because nature has a way of removing distractions. There's no television, no traffic outside, no constant phone notifications demanding attention. Instead, there's only the sound of rain, the soft movement of the trees, the flowing river, and the quiet satisfaction of living with only what you truly need. As the afternoon slowly turns toward evening, visibility begins to decrease. The rain grows heavier, and the wind starts pushing against the tent walls from time to time. The fabric moves gently with each gust, reminding us that outside conditions are becoming more serious. Still, the tent remains solid. Everything she did earlier, choosing the right location, securing every stake, tightening every line, is now paying off. Preparation always shows its value when conditions become difficult. She lights a small lantern inside the tent. Immediately, the atmosphere changes. The warm yellow glow creates a beautiful contrast against the cool blue light filtering through the rain outside. It's one of the most visually satisfying moments so far. If I were sitting there myself, I honestly think I'd lose track of time. There's something incredibly calming about simply watching rain from inside a cozy shelter. You don't feel pressured to do anything. You don't feel rushed. As the evening slowly settles over the forest, the atmosphere changes once again. The daylight begins to disappear behind layers of thick storm clouds, and everything around the campsite takes on a darker, more dramatic appearance. The forest that looked bright and welcoming just a few hours ago now feels mysterious, almost like it's hiding countless secrets among the trees. Yet instead of making the scene feel frightening, it somehow becomes even more beautiful. The rain has now become a constant companion. It's no longer just passing through. It's here to stay. The steady rhythm of raindrops hitting the tent creates a natural soundtrack that no piece of music could ever replace. Every drop sounds slightly different. Some hit the roof of the tent. Others land on nearby leaves. Some splash into small puddles forming around the campsite. Together, they create an orchestra that only nature can perform. One thing I absolutely admire about this camper is her patience. She's never in a hurry. She isn't constantly checking a phone or looking for entertainment. Instead, she seems completely comfortable simply existing in the moment. I think that's something many of us have forgotten how to do. Our lives are filled with notifications, deadlines, traffic, meetings, and endless distractions. But here, none of those things matter. The only schedule that exists belongs to nature. The weather decides what happens next. The daylight decides when it's time to rest. And the forest reminds us that life doesn't always have to move so fast. As she quietly sits inside the tent, watching the rain through the entrance, it's impossible not to imagine how peaceful that moment must feel. The cool air drifting through the trees. The earthy smell of fresh rain soaking into the forest floor. The gentle sound of the nearby river growing slightly louder as more rainwater flows downstream. It's the kind of peace that money simply cannot buy. Soon, she begins preparing for the evening ahead. She carefully organizes the cooking equipment, making sure everything she'll need is within easy reach. Again, nothing feels rushed. Every movement is calm. Every action has purpose. Watching someone with this level of outdoor experience is genuinely satisfying because you realize how much preparation goes into even the simplest camping trip. Many people think camping is only about pitching a tent. In reality, it's about planning. It's about respecting nature. And most importantly, it's about adapting. Nature never follows our plans. We have to follow hers. Outside, another deep rumble of thunder echoes across the mountains. This one is noticeably closer. The sound rolls slowly through the valley before fading into the distance. A few seconds later, a bright flash briefly lights up the entire forest. It's one of those moments that instantly reminds you how powerful nature really is. Yet even then, there is no panic, no fear, only respect. She quietly smiles as she listens to the storm growing stronger outside. That small reaction says everything. This isn't someone trying to conquer nature. She's simply sharing space with it. And honestly, I think that's the biggest lesson this entire adventure teaches us. Camping isn't about proving you're stronger than the wilderness. It's about learning how to live peacefully within it. As darkness continues covering the campsite, the warm lantern inside the tent becomes even more inviting. Its soft glow reflects gently across the fabric walls, creating a tiny island of comfort surrounded by miles of wild forest. If you looked from a distance, you'd probably see almost nothing except one tiny light shining through the heavy rain. It's amazing how something so small can make such a huge difference. That little lantern isn't just providing light. It's creating warmth, security, hope, comfort. Sometimes that's all we really need. Outside, the rain continues without showing any signs of slowing down. The wind occasionally shakes the trees. Branches sway gently overhead. Leaves dance wildly before settling once again. Everything around the campsite feels alive. The forest isn't sleeping. It's breathing. It's moving. It's telling its own story. And we're lucky enough to witness it. At this point in the journey, I find myself completely immersed in the experience. I almost forget that I'm watching a video. Instead, it feels as though I'm sitting right there beside the river, listening to the rain, watching the storm roll across the valley, and appreciating every peaceful second. As the night grows darker, the storm reaches its peak. Heavy rain pours over the tent while powerful thunder echoes through the forest. Bright flashes of lightning briefly light up the trees, creating a breathtaking view. Despite the intense weather, everything inside the tent remains calm and secure. What impresses me the most is how relaxed she stays throughout the entire experience. She doesn't panic or rush. Instead, she trusts her preparation and simply enjoys the beauty of nature. That's what real camping is all about, respecting nature, not fighting against it. Soon, she prepares a warm dinner inside the tent. Watching a hot meal being cooked while listening to the sound of rain is incredibly comforting. It reminds us that happiness doesn't always come from luxury. Sometimes a simple meal and a safe shelter are more than enough. As the storm continues outside, she finishes dinner, organizes her gear, and settles into her sleeping bag. The warm lantern light creates a peaceful atmosphere while the rain gently taps against the tent roof. It's the perfect ending to a long and unforgettable day. By early morning, everything has changed. The thunder is gone, the rain has stopped, and the forest is covered in fresh mist. Birds begin singing once again, and sunlight slowly breaks through the clouds. The entire landscape feels fresh, peaceful, and full of life. Stepping outside, she takes a deep breath and quietly enjoys the beautiful morning. The river flows gently beside the campsite, and every leaf sparkles with tiny drops of water. After such a powerful storm, the silence feels even more meaningful. She prepares a simple breakfast before carefully packing all of her equipment. Every item is cleaned and stored away, and the campsite is left exactly as it was found. This is one of the most important values of camping: always leave nature untouched. Before leaving, she takes one final look at the forest that was her home for the past 35 hours. It's a quiet but emotional moment, reminding us that some of life's best memories come from the simplest adventures. This wasn't just a camping trip. It was a journey of patience, preparation, and respect for nature. It shows us that peace can be found in the sound of rain, comfort can exist inside a small tent, and even the strongest storms eventually pass. Thank you for joining me on this incredible adventure. If you enjoyed this peaceful camping experience, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next adventure.